Just like there are right-handers and left-handers, night owls and early birds, there are those who prefer to shop in-store and those who don't. No matter how you like to shop, Price Chopper is here to help. We make it easy to get groceries any way you want. In-store, at your door, or for pickup. For freshness, selection, and low prices, Kansas City knows Price Chopper.
All right. Believe it or not, it's that time of year yet again. Time for high school football here in the Kansas City metro area, at least on the Missouri side this week. But we start up regardless here on Snap Tackle Pod. I'm Mick Shaffer from KSHB 41. He is Dion Clisso from, see right there, PrepsKC.
PrepsKC from the
Dion,
Xfinity Studios.
You have the new studio. They sponsor and everything.
Sponsored. The PrepsKC Studio sponsored by Xfinity.
We're big things here on STP.
Very happy. You'll see them every Friday night on 41 when I do the late bit there on the news. It's going to be great. We're happy to have them, and great internet and TV, and loving it.
That's coming up this Friday night.
Yes, it is.
It's on the Missouri side. Missouri always starts a week early. At least they have the last few years from Kansas, but they play one more game, so they all hit the playoffs at about the same time. So we're going to be talking about those Remax Big Three matchups coming up this week on the Missouri side, talk Simone Watch, but then we're also going to educate Dion on the state bird of Kansas, because Dion, you were on the Spectrum Nebraska Furniture Mart preview show, which was great. You and Leaf did a great job. It's always fun to see that preview show. But you seem to question why they changed, what was it, the KCAL?
The KCAL.
To the Meadowlark League. And you're like, Meadowlark Lemon? That's all I can think of. Myself, a native Kansan who's never lived outside of the state of Kansas, who had to grow up knowing about the state buffalo, right? State animal, buffalo, right? State flower, sunflower. The state song. The state reptile is the ornate box turtle, okay? I, of course, know the state bird, which is the Western Meadowlark. So I have no doubt that conference is named after the state bird of Kansas.
Yes, I think after we got up there, I think when Joe Novacek informed me that's what it was. Another native Kansan who's probably
native Kansan, right?
Never lived outside of
They keep telling us there's other stuff out there. I just don't believe them.
Well, and I don't even know what the state bird of Missouri is, and that's why or Hawaii, where I was born. I do think the state bird of Virginia is the cardinal. I think. It was on license plates, so I'm going to assume it was the cardinal. I think that's it. I do know that state motto is Sic Semper Tyrannis. And what famous or infamous person uttered that in history?
Who said it?
John Wilkes Booth.
Oh, yeah.
After he shot Abraham Lincoln, did the state motto of Virginia. It was
odd person to name your state motto after.
Well, it was already the state motto of Virginia, and remember at that time they had seceded from the Union and they were part of the Confederacy. In fact, Richmond was the capital, and
Ad Aspera per Aspera is Kansas, by the way.
See, I don't know.
Stars through difficulty.
Sic Semper Tyrannis is up. I think it's technically it's up with tyrants, meaning down with tyrants. My Latin teacher in high school, because I took Latin in high school, used to say it and do I bet you use that a lot. Gesture. Yeah. Oh yeah, Latin's great. I took what my teacher called cocktail party Latin. When someone goes, "Oh, Latin," I took Latin. I'm masamat. That's what that's what basically it is. It's something that you can say. I took Latin in high school. So
by the way, the Missouri state bird is the eastern bluebird, and yes, the Virginia state bird is the northern cardinal. It's all these directional: western meadowlark, eastern bluebird.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
There you go.
I think the state flower and or tree of Virginia is the dogwood. I only know that from the American President.
Okay. Virginia is for lovers. That's all I know, right?
Oh,
Virginia
yeah. I moved to Virginia in the 80s, and that was when that whole ad campaign was going. And I lived in Virginia Beach, and that's all you saw is Virginia is for lovers. And that was burned in your brain. So I don't know North Carolina, and I lived there too. So I'm not really. Those are my states that I've lived in my life.
All right, first episode of Snap Tackle Bird here with Dion and Mick. No, we'll get to some football here. So let's jump right in. Look, you had your Remax Big Three games of the week, just 3 on the Missouri side. And look, Missouri isn't messing around, so I'm not going to mess around. We're going to get right to it, right? What could end up being the biggest regular season game of the year in Kansas City. And depending on which poll you look at, it's number 1 v number 2, right? Lee Summit North and Liberty North right out of the gates here. It's almost like they planned it that way.
Well, and it's a fantastic game. And last year it was a back and forth game won by Liberty North. Lee Summit North looked like they had control of it. And then Liberty North, I think they scored the last 2 touchdowns to win that game. Kind of dominated the fourth quarter, kind of leaned on them. I think they're kind of overall size kind of wore Lee Summit North out a little bit. Not that Lee Summit North is a small team by any means. This year it's going to be interesting because one of the things that helped Liberty North last year was their offensive line. They're replacing a lot of those guys. I fully expect them to have 5 big, huge guys playing offensive line. I don't think that's going to stop, but Lee Summit North is replacing some people on defense at the linebacker core and a little bit of the defensive backs. So that's going to be a test right there. Liberty North's got their quarterback and their skill players back. So that's going to be a definite mashup. But the defense of Liberty North's got 9 of 11 back, led by Melvin Laster, Javon Smith. Yeah. Those guys are really tough. The one thing that I've cautioned people on, we were on Sound Off the other night, is Lee Summit North's got all the talent. They've got 2 pretty good quarterbacks, but they're brand new quarterbacks, and not just like we've got a junior and a sophomore been in our system. They're transfers. So, and Coach Mosey said it himself. He goes, one guy was running the option at St. Thomas Aquinas. Another guy, didn't see that much. Yeah, running a flex bone. And, the kid from Liberty North, saw the field a little bit more early in the season, but as the season went on, it was Sam Van Dyne. They spotted him in a little bit. So he knows. I mean, he said in our podcast that they're going to play both. They're both still learning the Lee Summit North offense. So, the thing that Lee Summit North had last year was Trey Baker. And he played every snap, had 1 interception, I think threw like 29 touchdowns, just the 1 interception and did a lot of stuff with his feet to keep plays alive, to make things happen for his receivers to get open. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see, how that plays out. And, one of the guys who writes for me, Ryan Edwards, had his column this week, and he was kind of saying, I wish this game was later in the year. And part of me agrees with him. I love it being week 1 just to, kick things off. But later in the year, you'll know more about these teams. Hypothetically, later in the year, full strength.
We'll see them later in the year, right?
Yeah. Well, I think the districts come out tomorrow. They should be in opposite districts. I don't think that they're going to put them in the same district. If they do, that's just criminal. That just would, to me, show St. Louis bias out of Misha. Then they should be in opposite districts. The district rotation would probably put them on the same side this year. So they'd probably meet semifinal if they met again. So, nothing is guaranteed, but, part of me says if they were a little more seasoned, say week 5 or week 6, it might be a better game, but I don't think it really matters. I think both these teams are pretty good right now.
The way Missouri does it, I still don't get it. I mean, you don't find out till game day, like what class you're in.
Oh, I've heard
what class
Illinois does it at the end of the season.
Who does?
Illinois does it at the end of the season.
Yeah, Illinois.
They're so worried about filling their districts, and if a team has enough, and it to me has gotten to the point where
Kansas knows 2 years.
It's a situation where, it's where they don't. I don't know. I mean, they're too worried about filling out in football, especially. They're worried about filling out teams for like other sports. Like they release the other districts for the other sports a week later. Yeah, do that then. Football, you can do in the middle. I mean, you can do it the 1st of August. I mean, teams know if they're going to have enough players to be playing or not. And if that was a rash of teams. It's an overreaction to an issue that happened a few years ago where a bunch of teams were like, we don't have enough players. We want to go 8-man, or we don't have enough players. We're going to, go junior varsity like Clinton did. It's a solution to fix a tiny, tiny problem.
I think it's kind of throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I mean, It affects a few schools. And like you said, I mean, with high school football these days, the season begins June 1st, right?
Yes, they know what their numbers are.
You're playing scrimmages, you've got jamborees, you got camps, you're traveling to camps. Your guys, right?
Yeah.
When the first day of practice isn't really the first day of practice, right?
Especially in Missouri. They have so many
who's coming out today? It's not like that at all. I just don't understand why Missouri waits till the first day of the season to determine their districts and their classes. Well, it feels like Platte County or sometimes have been they don't know, are we class 5? Class 4?
You got Center at Pleasant Hill, 2 teams good enough to, go deep in class 3. Are they going to be in class 4 with Smithville and Harrisonville and, Grandview? Are they going to be with those teams? Are they back down to class 3? Pius is on the line, though. Everybody that I've talked to thinks that Pius is going to stay at 3. Now, if they make another run to a state championship game in 3, I think that they will go up there. That number, that multiplier will push them up. I mean, I don't know. I have some friends that are, tight with some people, and I have friends at Misha, and I'm just like, Kansas just throws a line in the sand and goes with it. They aren't worried about filling out their brackets. In the smaller, I mean, I'm not that adept on the smaller schools. We don't have any, we don't have any 1A. We don't have any 1A teams in the Metro or 2A teams in Kansas. It's 3A.
Maranatha, maybe, right? Maranatha.
They were 8-man, I thought. Or they go 2A. They I thought they went 8-man. So I mean,
okay,
you've got Baldwin that's 3A and Bishop Ward that's 3A, and those are the two kind of schools. But I haven't seen anybody district dropping out there, and it cataclysmically affecting the bracket. I mean, yes. There is a disease. I don't understand
why Kansas counts differently for football than they do other sports, and they have to go on a 2-year basis. I would think, okay, 1 year, right? It seems like Kansas goes way too early. Missouri's way too late.
Well, there's a disease at Misha, and it may be at Keisha too, that we must treat football like every other sport. Everything must be the same all across the board. All our rules and districts, and that everybody makes a playoffs thing came out of that, and which I didn't love, still don't necessarily love. I mean, in Kansas, it's you get it even worse because you get a 1-16 matchup, and there's kids who are just getting their brains beat in the 1-16. And there's the 1-8 matchups in Missouri, which, with the exception of a few districts, nobody in the bottom half of that district has a chance to go deep. You're just asking to get killed, but that's what they do. Everything's the same. Everything's got to be the same. We keep it. No, football is a different sport. It's only played once a week. It's not. There's nothing wrong with having different rules for football or different rules for basketball
or other sports too.
Yes, things that are unique to that sport. I mean, I don't know. To me, that frustrates me with those districts and things like that. And we'll find out this is being recorded on Thursday. By the time you may be watching this, that'll all be out. Everything I've recorded up until this point is like, well, you'll find out on Friday.
We're 32 hours away from the game. We don't know some of these teams, what class they're going to be in, because it'd be great to kind of size things up. And I'm sure coaches would love to be able to forecast, like, okay.
Well, and with the weighted system for your playoff seeding in Missouri, not that guys schedule so far out anyway. I mean, that, but I mean, even if you were in Kansas and you had a 2-year cycle, you could when they schedule in Kansas, they know what class and district they're going to be in, though they don't have a weighting system. Missouri, you schedule and you have no idea. So somebody you could have scheduled, which you thought was going to give you some bonus points, could be in the same class with you. I mean, it's I don't know. Like I said, we've argued this before, but just have to sit back and wait.
Yeah. We will. All right, so we digress. This is what happens, Kansas, when you don't play. We go down these rabbit holes to fill up our time. We apologize. Back to the Remax Big Three. Well, actually, let's finish this off. Liberty North and Lee Summit North. I can't wait to see it. Are you going to lean one way or the other?
I'm leaning Liberty North.
How many FBS guys are in this game? How many D1 guys are in this game?
D1 guys?
Group of 5, counting FCS. Give me a number.
Oh, I'd say there's easily 15.
Yeah, if you're counting like the Missouri States of the world and all that, which is D1.
Oh yeah, I'd say easily 15, and I
would too. I would venture a guess that Lee Summit North might have 12 on their own.
Yes.
Again, not like Big 12 SEC, but if you're counting, the Valley football and you're counting, the MAC and stuff like that. Yeah. All levels of D1.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I know the Liberty's got at least 3 or 4. I mean, Sam Van Dyne's going probably Power 5. Melvin Lassiter is going to play for whoever he wants. I mean, I don't know. Go in the draft. I mean, he might as well.
Well, I mean, the North Kansas City kid committing to Alabama.
Yes.
When was the last time we had an Alabama commit? We had one, a JUCO kid, the one from
went to Lansing,
who went to Hutch, going to Alabama.
Yeah.
Tremendous athlete. And then now the North Kansas City kid going to Nick Saban's learning about KC.
Well, and Laster's going to get, I don't know if he already has an Alabama offer, but he's going to get one.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt. And not to say that
the tackle at Raytown. I mean, he was getting SEC offers last year as a junior. So
he's another one. So, it's going to be, there's a lot of talent on the field. It's going to be crazy. The game is on, Liberty school district has a deal. So the game is going to be on ESPN3, which not everybody gets. So this isn't it's on Spectrum, sit at home and watch it. type deal. This is you got to get your butt in a car and go. And while some districts have exclusionary policies in terms of who can come watch a game, I don't think Liberty does. There are some districts out there like Independence who have decided that if you are a high school student from another high school, you have to have mommy and daddy come with you if you want to come to their games.
Just because they've had issues and stuff.
I think they've had issues.
And stuff like that.
I don't know. To me, it's don't put a rule before you have major issues. I mean, if you're having major issues, then yes. But at the same, what does that say about your football programs that only people are coming to start fights? Yeah. I don't think anybody's going to Liberty North on Friday night to start a fight. I think they're gonna be there to watch a football game.
Watch fantastic football. And by the way,
and that's the thing, and if that's your issue in Independence or Center or places like that, I don't think Center has that problem because they're good. I mean, if you're in Independence and you're struggling and you think people are just going to come to start a fight, then maybe do that. But that's how you think. You think of what do I do? Not how do I make my product so good that I have to turn people away.
Yeah.
How do I protect my product so that people don't come and fight?
And these guys are so good for both teams. We glossed over Caden Green, right? Who's going to Oklahoma.
Going to Oklahoma.
Any other year, the biggest signing. But this year, I mean,
he's one of two because PJ out of Ottawa
seniors, man. Is that class 24 as well? and
there's two guys going to Oklahoma. PJ out of Ottawa from and PJ. Thank you very much for going by PJ. Your brother went by Tom. I can pronounce your brother's first name, and I've gotten out of the habit, so I'm not as good. But Tommy out of Ottawa is at Northwestern, who won the Buck Buchanan Award, his outstanding player. His little brother, not little at all. No, PJ is going to Oklahoma as well.
All right, let's move on here. The next Remax Big 3 game of the week is another good one, man. Missouri's just knocking out of the park. Rockhurst and Ray Peck. And what Ray Peck beat Rock at the very last, the line last year, right? The very final seconds.
They've won 2 close games. I mean, Rock has led in both those games the last 2 years that Kelly Donahoe has been there, and they've lost close games. This is going to be really good. I'm a big Ray Peck fan. I think if you get caught up in Liberty North and Lee Summit North, you're going to forget about Ray Peck because Ray Peck is going to be really good. Defense is a work in progress right now, but they usually figure that out. Offense is going to be as good as anybody. I'm a big Ray Peck fan going into the season, and this is probably biased because I covered Kelly Donahoe for so long. After a conversation with Mr. Donahoe for our radio show, there was a confidence in him that has me thinking that Rock's going to get this win. That the way that he likes how this team's playing, and they're junior heavy. They don't have a ton of seniors that are playing. He likes the seniors; that they're good leaders, and where the seniors are playing, they do a fantastic job. But this is a group that when Kelly Donahoe, Greg Oder, Tom Cruise got to Rockhurst 3 years ago, Tom Cruise told me the freshmen are really good. This is the group that's going to get things going, and they've also had 3 years in that system. Knowing how those coaches like to do things. I think it's going to be a great game. It's at Ray Peck, which is a great atmosphere. If you've never been to a game at Ray Peck, that's another place you need to go. It's a big stadium. They have a lot. It's right there off the highway. They've got an exit right there now, so it's easy to get to. It's down there. It is a drive. Our own Cole Young at PrepsKC lives down there, but which is nice to have him down that way. But it's a drive to get down there. But it's a great atmosphere. That's a fun game. A lot of good players in that game as well. Jaden Doss.
Ray Peck's got like 3 D1 receivers.
Yeah. I think Riddell is his name, is the junior who actually led them in receiving last year. Jaden Doss did not. Zach Dombrowski, the quarterback at Ray Peck, outstanding player. And then Thomas Fager is their tailback, who I feel like has been their tailback for 7 years. Mm-hmm. Like I think he played on the, he got touches like his freshman or sophomore year when they won state championship. And it just feels like he's been. I just feel like I've seen Thomas Fager's name in the stat line for every year for the last 7 years.
Yeah, excited to see that Rockhurst quarterback.
Yes,
as well. He's got like the Missouri State offer.
Yeah, he's a junior, and they've got they've got a big offensive line. You want to talk about guys who are going to get some offers? Andrew Sprague, their left tackle, is a guy who's a junior, like 6'6", 6'7", 300 plus, and not like he's got some baby fat. I saw him play basketball this winter, and he is a player. He's got good feet. He moves well. He's everything that long arms, all that kind of stuff. He's definitely a big time player for them, and He's going to be a key to their offense. They can get behind him and run a lot. And I think when you talk to Coach Donahoe, that's their plan. Is like, if we can just keep the ball, that'll keep the ball out of the hands of that Ray Peck offense.
I mean, the 4 teams we talked about in Missouri's big class. I mean, those are the 4 best on this side, on the Kansas City
side.
And
unfortunately, I think that Rockhurst, Lee Summit North, and Ray Peck could all be in the same district. I think those 3 could be in the same district. Where Liberty North, Blue Springs South could be in the other district.
Yeah, good points there. All right, last but not least, the final Big 3 game is Belton and Excelsior Springs. I like this one because it was kind of 2 sneaky good teams from a year ago. They both bring in good squads back.
Yeah, they are. And Excelsior Springs, these guys have been starting since they were sophomores. Chance Moreland there. Their quarterback is a great option guy who triggers what they do. They run that split back veer, which is, they move into the suburban conference. There's a lot of suburban teams that haven't seen that, so it's going to be tough to defend. And you look at Belton, Coach Todd Vaughn has done a great job. And, he brings his quarterback back. Javen Miner, tailback. Greg Lyles, who split time at tailback, is now the slot back receiver for them. They've got great weapons. They are. Belton is a program, with the exception of a couple of years ago when they just were not very good. I think they went 1-9 or 0-10. I have to look back and see. They just had a group of kids just not as talented. They had the numbers down a little bit, just a dip, just in the way the school was. It wasn't anything they did wrong. And they came right back and have been very good since then. And that's going to be a fun game. Those 2 teams really could get after it. Both are really well coached. Good communities that really like their football. So that's going to be a fun one.
Just 2019, Belton was 0-10.
Yeah.
In 2020, they went to 8-2. Last year, 7-4. So quick turnaround there for the Pirates. All right, Simone Watch, let's get it started here. Let's get a big pool of guys here. I've seen a lot of names thrown out there, and just getting back to our discussions on all the D1 guys and all the offers here in the area. This could be a jam-packed.
Yeah, I encourage everyone to go to
all year long.
The SimoneAwards.com, the website there. We've got the first Simone Watch up there. Of course, it's presented by the McCarthy Auto Group. They're the great sponsor of those awards. I put together a list of almost 20 guys, and I broke them down into your traditional running back, quarterback group, the receiver group, which is, they'll sneak in there every once in a while and get one. The linebacker group, which is usually the Buck Buchanan Award. But when you've got 4 guys who are Power 5 D1 guys, they've got a shot to kind of get their way in there. And, like Melvin Laster, who we talked about, Caden Green, Shandavian Bradley, and PJ Adebayo, and, Edric Hill.
I don't think we've ever had a better pool of Buchanan Award.
Well, and let's not kid ourselves. The Simone Award goes to the best football player in the Metro. The Buchanan Award has put more boys in the NFL in the last decade than any other award. It's not even close.
I mean, Simone Award, look, it's like the Heisman, and look, football, especially now. I mean, the quarterback is a much bigger piece of the pie than it was even 20 years ago. It's almost like quarterbacks used to be a running back award, right? Yeah. And then quarterbacks jumped in. And now the quarterbacks are kind of nudging the running backs out of it. But it is basically a quarterback running back award. But a lot of times you see like the NFL draft, right? The best quarterback doesn't always go number 1 overall. No. A lot of times it's a tackle or a pass rusher or something like that. I think we're seeing that in Kansas City, that Buchanan just loaded.
Well, there's a guy who's a starting right tackle for the Indianapolis Colts who never won the Buchanan Award, was a finalist 3 years in a row and never won it, and Braden Smith.
Yeah. He never won. Wow.
He never won it because he lost to 2 other guys who were in the NFL.
But what, Evan Bain,
Evan Bain and Elijah Lee.
Award, won the Buchanan, yeah.
It was on the 2 deeps for the Chiefs. I mean, it's Braden Smith, and for those you don't know, when Mick was at Spectrum, when we announced the ballot, and Braden Smith was a finalist all the sophomore, junior, senior year. Never made that show because that's when he lifted. He didn't want to miss a lift.
That's what that guy was a freak, man.
Yeah.
They played him at guard too. He's just a monster.
Oh, yeah.
But he could run, so they played him at guard. And just imagine the poor
running those
defensive
wing
backs
T,
having to like step up into the
yeah, because they ran wing T and they wanted a mobile guard
running at you at probably 4.8 speed, just ready to just end you.
Yeah. So like back to the Simone watch, you got Sam Van Dyne, who was a finalist last year. Mason McGravin from Olathe West, a dual threat guy. Hayden Jay from Mill Valley, some school out in Kansas. I haven't heard of him. Championships back behind him here. It literally live from the district. I know
I haven't got the third one up yet. I still got to shadow box that one.
They're
winning too rapidly for me.
It's a good list, and like I said, go to SimoneWars.com. It's also on. I kind of link it on our site as well, and you can jump over to SimoneWars.com. The new one will be out. The first few of Simone Watch are going to highlight each award. We're going to do Fontana and Taylor this week, and then I'll do the defensive guys next week, and then each week we'll kind of highlight some kids. And if you go to follow Simone Awards on at Simone Awards on Twitter and Facebook, that's a great way to go. Those and a lot of great content there. Podcasts, doing an interview with Sean Long, who won it. So that there's enough of my Simone Awards talk there, but no, it's a great group, and I don't know how it's going to go. I mean, I
love that spread out. We focused a lot on the the lineman linebackers, but I mean, and you mentioned, Hayden Jay, McGavin, a lot of good quarterbacks coming back. But what about the running back position? You have Grant Stubblefield.
Yes,
who could very well be a finalist for the Dorena Award and the Simone Award. Reigning 6A Player of the Year in basketball, All-State 6A player in football at running back. You have him. You have an under-the-radar guy. I got to see him this summer, Malik
Oatis.
I always want to say Aotis, like Amos.
I know, I do too. I broke myself with that last season. I'm very happy I broke myself because I said
do everything back out of the backfield, can run it, can catch it, just a freak of an athlete, so talented over at Shawnee Mission Northwest. And then guys like was it Briggs Bartosh? Park Hill South.
I was talking. We were at the Deep Pasquale Moore Media Day yesterday, and Moore, the part of it was talking. He had a friend who was on the staff at Park Hill South, who's now at Blue Spring South with Alan Wellness, and said that Bartosh was the best player on the field, no matter who they played. And when he got hurt late in the season, that hurt because they were undefeated and they lost to Liberty North in District 5.
They lost that one game.
So yeah, Briggs Bartosh is a guy, if he can stay healthy, is a guy to keep your eye on. And we talk about Belton, Javon Miner and Greg Lyles. It's probably Lyles is going to put up some numbers, but he's going to do it from a receiver position, where Miner is going to get a chance to really do some things. So, there's lots of good players out there. And there's, there may be a tailback who's getting his first start gig that we don't know about, that's going to go out and throw 1,800 yards up, that you just don't, because that's how it happens in high school football. Next man up, a kid who's a sophomore, junior, gets a shot, or a senior.
Was probably on the list, or maybe on the fringe of it last year, but we were more about Henry Martin at Blue Valley North.
Yes.
And we had a good year, but then they started losing games, and Polly just kept winning them.
Well, Polly was such a dual threat guy, and was big time to everything they did.
Yeah. All right, we got to the big three, Simone Award list. Any other state emblems you need to go over beyond?
Well, I will say this as a Missouri fan and as a Missouri person that went to Missouri. And this is for anybody who's a Missouri person, they would know this. When you get stickers, if you're, School of Journalism or this and that, like whatever your school went to, they're famous for. Like Missouri School of Journalism, you get that sticker for your car. Well, in Missouri, there's the College of Arts and Sciences, where I don't know, 80% of everybody goes through at some point, unless you're an engineer or a doctor. You go through the College of Arts and Sciences. That's where a lot of all the degrees branch off. I saw a sticker on a car that was a round gold sticker with the black shape of the state, and it said in just the plainest print, College of Arts and Sciences. And I was like, that is the most College of Arts and Sciences thing I've ever seen in my life. It's the most generic, like College of Arts and Sciences, like the generic umbrella of everything at the University of Missouri, and that was the most generic thing. And so if you're a College of Arts and Sciences survivor at the University of Missouri, you need to get that sticker for your car. I think I need to as well. But no, it's to double back on the high school football season. It's gonna be a great season. Looking forward to doing these podcasts, and we've got a lot of great stuff. I've been doing these virtual media days with all these coaches Tidying up the Missouri ones as we speak. Before I came on with Mick, I did one, and looking forward to doing starting the Kansas ones this weekend. We're going to rapid fire knock those out next week. Get previews, try and get a video podcast with everybody, every coach that we cover. Trying to do that, and of course we had the media day yesterday with the Kansas City, Kansas.
Yeah, let's hit on that.
Yes,
more media day, and it seemed like it grew this year. It seemed there are more.
It did. They
not?
added Hogan Prep and University Academy and William Chrisman, which were nice additions. We talked to those coaches yesterday.
Explain what that is. It's more or less an collection of inner city teams for both the Kansas side and the Missouri side. They meet at Grand Street on the plaza. They bring in head coach and a couple players, and it's basically like a press conference, almost like a media days for those inner city teams that don't always get the as much coverage as they should.
Yeah, they do, and you guys were out there, and all the other TV stations were out there as well. And for those kids, it's beyond just, hey, look, we're playing football and we get a little press that we maybe don't normally get. It's an event for a lot of those kids that they don't get to go to. That's there's those kids don't get to go down to the plaza and dress nice, and like the Kansas City Central kids. If you follow me on Twitter, they all showed up shirts and bow ties. They won the best dressed award. The other kids were in their jerseys, which is not it's no slight on them, but they came and it's a chance to no matter where you're from at 16, 17, 18, having to go and be a part of a banquet and interact with people and learn how to handle those social situations and be interviewed by some idiot like me who's rushing you through and asking the lineman, do you like being up here? No. He was great. I mean, those kids are great, and it's a great event just that the Deepest Quality More does just for those kids to learn, even just socially, and it'd be great for all kids, to be able to have that experience. I mean, I'm sure your kid who's in college now probably could have used somebody sticking a microphone in his face or would he be, or is he like dad? And
I mean, he got it last year. Like you got look, schools like Mill Valley, you've got a reporter or a TV crew out there almost every day, right? Leading up into the season, and they probably get tired of it. And so, yeah, he did media last year. He did it with Channel 9 with Spectrum. And it was funny. I used to, intern under Karen Kornacki, and then she's interviewing my son. She got a kick out of that. And I'm 41 and all that stuff. And so, coaches like Joel Appleby and all those coaches, Kelly at Rockhurst and just all those guys, they know the drill. Once you get to be seniors, you get out there and you throw out a couple seniors each time to talk and kind of get their name out there. And it's a good rite of passage for those kids who have been in the program for 4 years, have worked their butt off. And a lot of times, look, it's kids that are playing for the first time, finally getting their shot as seniors.
Yeah.
To do it from the media. And so awesome to see those kids from KCK, from the IL. We did a big story on Lincoln Prep. Was there yesterday in front of the mic, and whether they're nervous or not, they love it, right? I mean, it's kind of big, feel like you're big time.
Hats off to. I mean, it was good food too.
My whole life from the local paper, and that was it.
Yeah, I mean it's good food too. So I mean they got a great lunch. It was some kind of pork burn-in thing.
And Deepest Quality More, Mike does a great job with that. And throughout the season, we're going to have the Metro Game of the Week each year.
Yes, our Metro Game of the Week this week is William Chrisman and Grandview.
Yeah, and that's good for us in that, like, we always try to spread out it. Each week it's not best games, best team. It's like, okay, let's throw a blanket over the city.
Yes,
the pockets here. Where's the best action? Okay, yes. Lee Summit North is great, but we're not going to cover every week, right? We're going to make sure we spread the love. And so to have that Deepest Quality More game each week, that really helps to kind of.
Well, and yeah, it does. And you guys, since you've gotten to 41 and some of the other, Spectrum West, is that what it is? Some of the amount of people you guys have over there with like a Kyle hat. I know Kyle's not in sports, but Nick Jacobs. West, and I can remember when you guys were at Spectrum, and Kyle was producing. Kyle's goal was to get video on every team that was in your coverage area. It was, and it's tough to do. Spectrum had a little more ability than the rest of us to do that at the time. They were more set up for that because that's what you guys did. No, that's what we try and do. That's why I'm trying to do the interviews with every coach. I want you to be able to go to a team page and see something for your school on there and find out about, and a lot of these coaches know. I mean, I've talked to coaches who were 0-10 last year, and 2 wins is going to be a great improvement for them. They know this isn't necessarily going to be, a championship season, but at least they can talk about their kids, and these kids, get a little hub and know that, they are, somebody, no matter how many people are in the stands, that there's people who are interested in what they do.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, lastly here, let's hit on a couple more games that are outside the big three. Fort Osage and Grain Valley. That's gonna be a classic right out of the gates as well, right?
Well, yeah, Fort Osage, Grain Valley.
It's a rematch. It's a
rematch of the quarterfinal last year.
Knocked out Grain Valley last year.
Yep, Fort Osage knocked out Grain Valley last year. The first game was 9-8. They played twice last year.
Right.
Fort Osage beat them twice, 9-8. And I think that's a Lorenzo Finner run back for a touchdown when they were kicking, and they have a good kicker at Grain Valley, and the kicker slipped on the turf and kicked it in bounds, and Lorenzo Finner ran it back.
Oh, wow.
Lost by 1 point. So yeah, it's a great game. And I'll be honest with you, these two teams are not in the same league right now, but I would bet money that they will, as Grain Valley grows, they will be tied at the hip for the next decade. Very easily. And they're close to each other.
I understand the suburban leagues, but I passed out. I can't.
Yeah, no, Fort's just a little bit bigger in Grain Valley right now, so they're in the red, and Grain Valley's still in the white. I would assume
so gold and silver, then red, white, blue. Is that how it goes?
Gold, silver, red, white, blue. Gold is all class 6.
Smallest. Okay.
Silver is class 6 with Staley. Maybe class 6. I don't know. They were right on the line last year. Who knows? We'll see. As you may be watching this going, idiot, I just looked on your site. It's right there. Yeah. If you caught it late. But no, it's those, and then the red, white, and blue, the red and white are all class 5 teams. Belton is kind of on that line. And they're in the white. So those are all class 5 teams. And then the blue is primarily class 4 teams. So it's really apples to apples in these leagues now. I didn't love 5. I thought you could have done 4 7s just to, keep the number there.
Yeah, there's 28, right?
Yeah, there's 28, but they go 5 6, 5 5 7. But they're all along classification. They're all along, you talk to the coaches, a St. Joe Central, North Kansas City, similar communities. They're in together. So it's, there's a lot of coaches who like it. If you're in the silver, you're like, why didn't you just put us all in the gold? We're all playing each other. All the silver teams are playing the gold teams. The class 6 teams are pretty much playing each other. So that's we talk about good matchups, Fort Osage, Grain Valley. Kearney and Platte County are not in a conference for the first time in almost 20 years, but they're playing week 1. Yeah. Don't think that Kearney, Smithville, and Platte County aren't going to play each other. That is happening. Yeah. There's no way that's not happening. They might as well be, tied at the hip, those 3 schools. So that's a good one. Raytown and Smithville. Raytown, Logan Minnick went to Kearney. And Mike Hedrick takes over at Raytown. Smithville, undefeated state champion last year, lost some good players. Still going to bring some good teams back. You're going to see a Smithville team that is uber talented, but not huge. All kinds of speed against a Raytown team that's got size and athletes. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be a great test for both those schools. So that's a good one. Pius and Pembroke Hill, week 1. If you even want to go small school, Oak Grove and Lawson, improving Oak Grove against the Lawson. You want to go even smaller?
A little outside the area. Maryville plays Blair Oaks.
Blair Oaks at Central Missouri.
20 state titles against 30 there.
Yeah, and then you can go even smaller. Lafayette County and Penny. Penny was the only team to beat them in the regular season last year. And the Penny's a really good team. The case, KCI's kind of up there, St. Joeish, kind of borderline St. Joeish. I went up to East Buchanan to start the year amongst the 8-foot tall corn as East Buchanan practiced on their practice field right next to a cornfield. And defending state champion East Buchanan. So KCI's got great teams, and they're crossing over some with the Missouri River Valley West, and so no, just a lot of good games in week 1. You can't beat it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're going to get out of here. Dion, thanks so much for the time, but we are back every single week. Usually on a Wednesday, we'll drop this thing.
Usually Wednesday after. We're gonna shoot people. I'm gonna plant my flag and say we're gonna try and shoot for Wednesdays or somewhere along that line.
You just got to get me out of bed, Dion. Okay.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right. For Dion and Mick, we'll see you next time right here on Snap Tackle Pod.